I'm 23F and my boyfriend is 22M. It's been almost a year of dating and sometimes I feel like we are not on the same wavelength. How can we work this out? I want this relationship to last, but I'm not sure how to go about it as recently I don't feel as confident anymore. Please advise. Side note, I am currently communicating with him on this original poster I see. We try not to sweep any negative feelings under the rug. But I just need significant other me original poster Indians from people who don't know me and get a non-biased POV. I will, however, be deleting this post after about 2-3 days max. Thanks for your understanding. Just some background info. I'm not sure if any of you believe in astrology, but I'm a Virgo and he's a Gemini. We are both Cancer Venuses. Any astrological insights would be well appreciated too. He is my first relationship ever. I 23F personally don't think I'm the kind of person who is very emotional and expressive about my emotions. In fact, it makes me uncomfortable. Whereas my boyfriend 22M is one who is quite expressive about how he feels. I met my boyfriend last year in 2023 and it's going to be our first year anniversary soon. I love him, and I really do want this relationship to work out. I'm not one who really talks about their personal life on social media, but I guess right now I'm feeling really desperate because recently I've been unsure about this relationship lasting and it makes me sad thinking about it. Of course there were a series of events that lead up to this point, not just this incident that I'm about to share. Before all that, I used to think we would end up together, that we would have a future together. I know he loves me to his core, he treats me really well, and is willing to inconvenience himself or tire himself out this to meet me. To clarify, I would tell him not to meet if he's really tired, and I never once forced him to meet me. He just really doesn't mind doing all that and I am always really grateful about it. I digressed and I'll try to get to the point. Recently we've been getting into more and more arguments. And it's over conversations that seem stupid to even get angry about. The most recent example is that he told me about his childhood dream of getting a license to fly a plane and that it really means a lot to him. He shared with me that he wanted to share that moment with me and wants me to be the first person in the plane with him once he gets his license in the future. Of course this is just him fantasizing and I know ultimately, it's not that deep, like it was just a casual conversation. But me being me, someone who doesn't seek for adrenaline rushes and I'm afraid of heights, my first reaction was no. Well, I didn't say no, but I implied. So he jokingly but with a little passive aggressiveness said that he'll fly our friends first then. So I went with the flow and said okay, go ahead, they should fly first and I'll experience it through them before getting on that plane. And I think he took my response the wrong way, thinking that I don't trust him to keep me safe. Saying that I am brave enough to trust a random pilot from a commercial airline and fly to another country myself, but questioned if I can't trust him enough to be in a plane with him. Yes, I do take commercial flights, but that's only to travel. And I hate flying. If I could just teleport without taking a plane I would. But I didn't get to explain that to him earlier when we were having that conversation. I don't even ride roller coasters because I hate to see that my feet are no longer touching the ground. Of course, once again, I did not get to properly express this earlier but instead texted him about it after we parted ways and I've gathered my thoughts. Oh God, it's a lot to unpack. I think it already is quite obvious that I'm not a very good communicator, I'll admit. It's challenging for me to voice out my unhappiness because it seems to affect him and make him upset, but I know I shouldn't be afraid. Yet I still try to avoid situations where I would find myself having to express my emotions, especially when it's something far from his expectations. Which unfortunately tend to happen quite often. However, there are times where I would be honest with him even if I end up being a wet blanket, because I wouldn't want to put myself in a spot. For example, if an activity that I'm not that interested in participating takes place, and I lied about wanting to be a part of that activity just to make him happy, wouldn't that upset him even more? Anyways, I'm significant other why I keep digressing. He got upset because I shut his dreams down, which I think it's kind of a stretch because I feel he's just blowing my answer out of proportion. I do want to be a part of that dream, but does me not wanting to be sitting in the cockpit with him make me unsupportive? I don't think so. I am starting to strongly dislike how he needs to have a direct yes or no answer, which is also why I think he easily gets upset when certain situation doesn't meet his expectations, because in life, not everything can be definite. And some things just takes time to come to a conclusive answer, and trust me, he is aware that this is something he has to work on. Nonetheless, it's really starting to throw me off and I feel my patience thinning. And I don't think I can even express that because he might be hurt or start defending himself. Although I'm not a good communicator, I do try my best to communicate with him by testing the waters and expressing a fraction of what I feel, which might lead me to downplay my emotions at times, But if I end up seeing that disappointed look on his face, it makes me stressed and I would rather just not deal with him being upset because I hate feeling that tension between us. So most times I find myself just keeping quiet and not sharing my opinions with him too much, afraid that I would be deemed wrong or I would hurt his feelings. Sometimes I wish he would have that intuition to know where I'm coming from without having to properly explain myself in detail so I don't confuse him, but I know that's a selfish request on my end. TBH, when situations like these occurs, my mind just shuts off and I wouldn't know what to say because I don't think it's anything to even be upset about, but yet here we are, arguing about a hypothetical situation, tension in the air. I hate conversations like that, and I think it's unnecessary. Anyways, this is a long story and I'm sorry that I was long-winded. Thank you to those who read till the very end. Once again, I want us to last. I want a future with him. I really do love him and maybe I don't even express this well enough to him. How do I fix myself? How do I become better for myself and eventually, better for the relationship? He's a Gemini love, he's already forgotten about it. Quit reading when you mentioned your signs.